and I know that her story is very moving. That's why I've asked her to come and speak to you today. Her background is that she has a background in teaching children and adults, and she now specialises working with people who have specific learning difficulties. She's in the process of writing teaching material for children and adults with learning difficulties, specifically dyslexia and ADHD. So, colleagues, this might be someone that we bring in to do some visiting lecturing. All right? I'll give you Sarah McGann.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me at the back. Absolutely full of cold, but I'm going to talk very briefly about two experiences, and I'm going to compare them. And the purpose of doing this is so that you will understand exactly what Patricia Reed was saying about how important it is that the element of care that you offer your patients is the thing that's going to stand out in their mind when they've left there. I have two experiences that I'm going to share with you. In 1995, I came in heavily pregnant, just about to give birth to my first child, and my experience both throughout my pregnancy and at the time when I gave birth to my son was absolutely fantastic. The nursing care was fantastic. When I arrived, I wasn't expected for another couple of days, but I was welcomed by a brilliant team of nurses who made me feel very comfortable and at ease. I was shown around all the different things that were going to happen, and this is what we're going to do with you. From the moment I arrived, I was monitored throughout my labour, and which was an excellent thing. And at each stage of the monitoring, I had a midwife that came back and said to me, okay, this is happening, and this is what we're going to do now. How are you feeling? Are you comfortable? Would you like a cup of tea? We think it's going to take a little bit longer. Is there anything that you need? And all those little touches made it so much easier for me to communicate how I was feeling, what was going on, and basically everything. Towards the end of the labour, things began to get quite difficult. I was now a good couple of hours, I think, into the last stage of labour, ready to push this child out, but not at all dilated. And the baby became very, very distressed. I had to be rushed in for an emergency caesarean section. But throughout the whole process, and even going down on the trolley towards the theatre, we're going to do this now. Now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do this. Is that okay? Are you okay? How are you feeling? Are you comfortable? And these were the kinds of questions that I was being asked all the way through that. It made me feel at ease. I could say to them, no, this doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. I'm not sure how I should be feeling for this. That was my first pregnancy. I had no idea what labour was going to be like, what it was going to feel like. But because I felt so at ease, I could explain to them every single stage as things began to change in both the way I was feeling, my temperature, so on and so forth. I was able to explain that, and they were able to deal with that effectively. In 2002, I'm entering, in February of 2002, I enter again to give birth to my daughter, my second child. A totally different experience. I was greeted and welcomed by someone who had come back from their holiday, and it was their first night on. And bless her, she was just so excited about the holiday that she had been on, and she wanted to share all of this with me. Completely forgot. How are you feeling? What's going on with you? So I was welcomed. I walked to labour ward. She had a quick flick through my notes, put that down, and she sat there and she told us all about her holiday. I went to Australia, we went and did this, we were boat riding, I swam with dolphins. I mean, I could tell you loads about her holiday because she just told me so much. But in her excitement, there were some fundamental things that were written in my notes from my first pregnancy that were missed. Stop there. I was handed over a few hours later to the ward. Baby wasn't coming just yet. And because the things that were done in labour room were missed, they were not communicated when I got to the ward. Handed over to the ward, I was placed in a side room, and more or less the same image of everything that happened in my first pregnancy began to happen again. However, at this time, I was in a side room, I was on my own, and the obs were not being done. Now, from there, you can start to put together in your mind what you think is going to happen. My condition deteriorated throughout the night. Because I hadn't dilated, this baby was ready to come, pressing against, keep pressing. If you think about the balloon, inside the balloon, as you're moving inside the balloon, placenta against the wall, and this baby is coming down, squeezing against the placenta, you can imagine what's about to happen. I suffered a placental abruption. I was still in the side room, still on my own, on a very busy ward. And there I was for the next 4 hours. Nobody knew. I did ring the bell a few times because my history had not been communicated. As far as the nurses at that time were concerned, this was a lady that was making a fuss over nothing. You're in a side room, you're not on an emergency unit, whatever. And this went on. After ringing several times, being left on my own, passing out a few times, being sick. By this stage I was clammy. My stomach looked like it had been wrapped in cling film because it was just so tight. All of this had happened and all of this was missed. Fundamental information, life and death information, that was missed. Eventually, I was seen by a nurse, a midwife who, I mean, in coming in, she walked into the room to take my obs a few hours later and she went grey, just looking at me, and I thought, uh-oh, if she's going grey then there's something definitely wrong. And from then it was almost that fast from the time that she walked into the room to the time I got back down to labour ward, and then from labour ward to surgery. I had lost over 11 pints of blood. My daughter was stillborn, and there were several other things that happened. She's still here. She was resuscitated. She's here. She's 12 years old now and doing quite well. But what I'm saying to you is, from my story, if the elements of care had been put in place at the entry of coming in to give birth to my child, then a lot of the things that happened may not have happened. It's very, very important that you listen to your patient on arrival, that you spend time talking to the patient. Who knows their body better than the person that lives in it? With all the medical training that you have, you cannot tell how someone is feeling unless you ask them. It's not going to tell you. You can probably guess from the different things and changes that you can observe. Unless you ask them, you never, ever will know. Okay, so when I was asked by Marcia to speak about my experiences of care, I put together an acronym that I would like you to write down so that you can remember it. I did have my slides, but technology, so we won't go there. Okay, am I speaking loud enough at the back? Some of you couldn't hear me. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to speak over this cold. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So if I keep my voice at this level, you'll be able to hear me. Okay. When I was asked to do this, I put together an acronym based on my experience, how I think that maybe if you can keep this in mind, you may be able, if you remember this, that you may be able to change the quality of care that you offer. Okay, I. Inform. Keep yourselves informed. Make sure that you read the notes. Make sure that you speak to this patient. Find out how they're feeling. Find out if there's anything they need. So keep yourself informed. C, compassion. It's okay to ask, but sometimes you can ask in a way that someone doesn't really want to, they don't really want to respond to it. Are you all right? If you say that as you're walking away, what's your patient going to reply? No, it's okay, I'm fine, thank you. And you don't know what's going on inside. But if you have eye contact and you say to them, are you all right? Then you're more likely to get the right response. Be attentive. It doesn't mean that you sit with that patient all day holding their hand or whatever, but being attentive for me means that you look at the patient, you talk to the patient, you, again, eye contact. Make the patient feel that whatever is going on with them, that they feel okay to tell you, this is how I am. Also be respectful. It is never respectful to ask a question and then walk away before you get the answer. And E, empathy, goes a long way. You may not always have the same experience as your patient, but if you try to put yourself in their shoes, what would I want? If I was this person lying here, how would I want to be treated? What would I want to be done at this time, if that was me? So you've heard my story, two very different stories. One was absolutely excellent, the quality of care that I had. My recovery was very quick, even after having a caesarean section. I was back at work after 2 weeks with my first child. My second experience, not second, took a very long time to recover, and I mean the story is a lot more in depth, and from time to time Marcy will share bits and pieces of it that will help the people that she's teaching to understand. But the recovery was a lot longer, several years in fact. Two very similar experiences. I'm sorry. Two very similar experiences. I was just saying that the recovery was very different in both cases, simply because of the quality of care that was given. Excuse my last thing in conclusion, but I want you just to think about what I'm going to say for a minute. I don't know, does it work?
What do you want?
To write on there. Okay. I was going to be really American about it and make you stand up and probably say it, but no. Okay. This is what I want you to remember. Sorry?
The folks at Oxford House can't see it.
Is it too small?
No, they haven't got the visual.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is what I want you to remember, and this is what I want you to say to yourself when you're going out to do your shift. I am important. They need me. I'm going to give it my best shot. Who's the I? You. The nursing staff. You are important. You're important to us as patients, and you're important to the team that you work with. They need you. Who's the they? We are. We need you. Your team needs you. The company needs you. And if you go out thinking, I'm going to give today my best shot, then you're going to get your best results.